All right, thanks for joining us today. We are going to do a quick run through of LayoutPro, which is the online software that you will use to create your yearbook this year. And you're going to get there by going to Yearbook Avenue. So I would go ahead and bookmark this page when you go here for the first time, because you're going to be using it a lot. And there's a lot of information in here. We've got another video that we made last week after we did a training that walks you through this website. And there's a lot of resources and tools in here to help you be successful. But the point of today is to talk about the software. So that's what we're going to do first today. So the way that you get to your LayoutPro software is by clicking Create up here at the top and LayoutPro. And then while that loads, if you guys have questions or anything, put them in the chat, and Allie will be watching that so she can respond there, or drop any links that she might need to that she thinks would be helpful for you guys. So this is LayoutPro, and what we're looking at is just a part of Yearbook Avenue. So you can still see I've got the menu for Yearbook Avenue up here still. So if I wanted to get to the digital classroom and get to some of that curriculum, I could. Or if I wanted to get to my image library, I could go get to my image library right from LayoutPro. So all that's still here. The way that you're going to navigate the software, though, is some buttons down here on the left, mainly those, and then some kind of extra tools up here on the top. So what we'll do is go through those top ones first. File is going to be a lot like what you're used to seeing in Microsoft Word. So your save, file save as a template. If you make something, a template that you've either started from a Jostens template or something that you've created on your own, it's something that you can save and use throughout your book so that you don't have to keep recreating it all over again. So just save it as a template and call it a sports template if you know that you're going to use that on all of your sports pages. Practice pages are really nice because a lot of times you guys will do practice before you start working on your actual yearbook. So an all about me page, for example. So if you wanted your students to practice without actually doing some designs on the actual book, you can have them open a practice page. And when you do that, I just have them call it their name so that you know who it belongs to. And now I've got a page here that I can work with. And it's not actually going to save on all of your pages of the yearbook. And I'll show you in a minute where you'll find those practice pages after you've created them. Under Files, also going to be where you'll be able to view your PDFs and download your PDFs. So this is a good way of proofing, good things to do before you submit your pages, obviously. Under the Edit, you're going to have copy, paste, cut, undo, redo, those sort of things. One that you'll use in here a lot is change background. And we'll come to that when I get some backgrounds in here, and I'll show you how that works. Also, one of our very favorite tools is the Select tool, and it will allow you to select certain things on your page that all have a similar attribute. For example, if I wanted to select everything on the page that was emerald green, titled emerald green, I could then select all of those objects and then change the color all at once. And I'll give you an example of that when we get to that point. Under View, this is going to be some of your preferences on how you like to view your page. Right now, I've got a double page spread open, and I've got the gutter down the middle, and it's just white. If you like to look at guides, you can come in here to View, Grids and Guides, and then you can turn on your grids and your guides, to be able to get some lines on there that will help you keep things aligned on your pages. Under Arrange is going to be a lot of your alignment, your layering, and your transforming and things that you'll want to do to objects. And when we get some on the page, let's just jump in because I need to have stuff on the page to show you some of this stuff. So let's just go ahead and do that. So down here on the left, this is really how you'll work with the software. And under Pages, you'll be able to see all your yearbook pages down the left-hand side. If you choose the drop down, this is where you'll see, once your advisor has assigned some pages to you, this is where you'll see the ones that have been assigned specifically to you. And for this project, none were assigned to me, so I'm not seeing any there. But if Allie just wanted to see hers after I assigned them to her, she would be able to just see hers there. This is also where you're going to see your master template. So a master template is what all of your spreads are based on. And we tell the yearbook ladder here in under plan page ladder, when you guys decide what's going on each page, you can decide which master template belongs to it. And what that might mean is maybe on every sports page, you want to have a green circle down here in the corner. So I would make a sports page template, and then it has that green circle in the corner. And then I would let the ladder know for all my sports pages, I want to apply this master template so that it has that little green circle. And maybe sports or student life has orange, and maybe clubs has red. And so we might have 4 or 5 different master pages. If this is way over your head, that's okay. Some schools like to use them to make things really cohesive and consistent throughout the book. Some schools don't bother with master pages at all, but that is an option that's there if you want to use it. So let's go ahead and open up a yearbook page. And so I'm going to open up page 4 and 5. When I click it, it opens it up over here on the right-hand side. And what we're seeing is our double page spread with the gutter right down the middle. The blue line is what we call the safe line. And so anything that you know you want to print on the page should stay within that blue line. If I zoom in really close, I can now see this red line, which is actually the edge of the page. And this is the bleed line. This is the trim line. This is where the choppers at the plant slice those pages so they're nice and crisp on the edges. If you stop with a picture right here on this red line, those choppers aren't going to know, are we supposed to chop this picture off or not? So it'll throw you an error in Layout Pro and you won't be able to submit your pages unless you fix it. If you have it a little bit further away, it might get through the errors, but we just want to make sure that you know that if you don't want something to be cut off, just keep it within the blue. And if you do want it to be cut off, take it all the way to this gray, dark gray line. Then that's very clear to the plant. This is supposed to bleed off the page. Does that make sense? Okay, if you have questions about bleed or anything like that, let us know and we can help you. It'll give you a little reminder up here at the top. Wow, that zoomed in fast. Caution, all bleed elements must extend 1 pica from the red trim line. So that should help remind you if you want to have a background or a picture bleed off the page, take it all the way to the dark gray. Okay, so now you've got your page. And if you're ready to drop a template on, you're going to find those in designs. And so under designs, if I come in there, I can search for designs. So if there's something from the Page Surfer book that you know that you love, you can go ahead and type that number in here or the title of that spread, and it'll pull it right up for you. But if you don't have that, that's okay. You can choose the drop down. And under the drop down, there's several different kinds of designs that you can put on your page. I'll start with the custom ones because we talked a little bit about saving those templates. So if you did make a template that you made that you want to use on every single sports page, you would save it as a template, and then anything that you save as a template will be stored here under My Templates. So when you're ready to come back and find that sports template, you'd find it here and then drag it over. I don't have any saved templates, so it's not showing me any there, but that's where you would find them. Also, for those practice pages that we were talking about, when the kids create a page for them to work on that's not actually in the book, this is where you'll find those. It's easy to get for that one to get lost for some reason. There's not a real clear place for the practice pages to be, but they're always going to be under designs, practice pages. And when I clicked on that, there's that one that I started. I haven't done anything to it, but it's there. We also have, if you wanted to move templates from last year's book over to this year's book, we can do that. A good example might be if you did like a page for baby ads or little baby pictures, and it took you a long time to set those up, and you don't want to do that every single year. You just want to use that same template. We can move that over from last year. You just have to let us know, or we can point you in the right direction on how to do that. And this is where those would show up. Okay, so those are custom. Under themes, if you notice in the Page Surfer book, there's going to be a couple of themed templates that have matching templates that you can use throughout your book. And what I mean by that is there's going to be matching sports templates that go with student life and clubs and academics, and even a cover that will match with it. So it makes it really, really easy for brand new advisors or for advisors that are in charge of 100 things and a huge family at home and all these other activities on the weekends. You just want to make it look like you made a really awesome book and it didn't take you as much time as it would to create from scratch. Themes are the way to go, and there's no shame in that game. So if you find one in there that you love and you like the cover, they're all going to have their own little names, and you'll see those in the Page Surfer. So I'm going to click on More, for example. More is the name of one of those themes. So if I click on that, I've got all of these templates that are already created. Of course, I didn't pick a very colorful one. I want a colorful one. I'm just going to pick a different one. Okay, we'll go with this one. It's not very colorful, but we'll do it anyways. Um, we've got all these opening and closing templates ready for you. Student life. So see how they're all kind of matchy that you can match throughout the book. So it's kind of nice. You just drag the one that you want to try over, and then you can even replace it if you drop a new one right on top. Oh, and there we go. So we've got this template. It's created using design rules that we teach at Jostens. So I really, really love those. And just because it says it's an academic spread, feel free to use it on a sports page. Nobody knows, nobody cares, and they're all there for you to use. So those are the themes. We really, really like those. If you need more options, there's a ton of them. So modular are going to be little modular pieces that you can use to create a design. If your kids are like, no, we want to design your own, but you don't want to give them all the freedom in the world, there are modular designs. And what those are, if I click on one of those, it's little pieces that you can use to kind of puzzle piece a book together. So here's a fun little this or that mod, and that I'm going to pair with this other one. And now all of a sudden I'm building my own fun little page. And these are all editable. So if I wanted to adjust the size of them, I could make that work. And then all of a sudden the kids feel like, hey, I customized this page, and they did, only, you know, with a little help from us. So those are there to help them be creative, but still work it within parameters. Those are modular designs. We also have the page surfer designs. That page surfer book that came in your kit's about that thick, and there are tons of them in there. And the page surfer ones don't necessarily match like the themed ones, but that there's tons of them still to choose from. So I just clicked on sports. So if I do just a quick scroll, you can see how they don't really all match, but that's an easy fix, and we'll show you how to do that if you did want to make them match. But these just give you some more options on you know, different things you can use for your book. And I'm dragging one single page over, so you can see it's just replacing one side. So it kind of gives lots of options to have several different designs within your book. Those are your page surfer designs. Click and goes are more mods, more small pieces that you can use to create the rest of your book if you want your kids to be able to design, but within some parameters. So if I'm doing click and goes, I can click on these headlines, and here's some headline designs that are already created for you that allows them to still be creative without having to reinvent the wheel completely. So we've got things like infographics, scoreboards, sidebars, quote boxes. It's all here for you to kind of piece together if you wanted to do it that way. That's click and goes. We also have advertising templates. We have portrait templates. And then you can even favorite template design. So if I loved this one and I know I want to use this scoreboard on every single sports page, now if I come down to favorite designs, there's that one that I starred. So I really like that too. That is designs. I'm going to come in and just drop in a page real quick. Oh, I don't like those colors though. We'll just go with this. Okay, so I've got a template on there now. That's kind of fun. And so the next thing is images. So if I click on images, it's over here on the left. I'm ready to put in some pictures. This is going to pull up my image gallery. And right now I can see under academics, I don't have any pictures. So let me show you how to work with your image gallery. This is really part of Yearbook Avenue. So you'll get there by going to create and then image library. So when I have that open, and this is a new, this might look a little different to you if you were a Layout Pro user last year. It functions the same, it just has a more upgraded look. So what you're gonna do is you'll see that we've got some folders already created for you under activities. This is also gonna be where your portraits will be stored when we get that link from your portrait company and we upload those. We'll see those here, but those are specifically portrait pictures and not really for the candid pages. So under activities, we've made some folders for you, but if under academics, we know we're going to have another subject. So we'll have, I don't know, English. You can create more folders underneath these head folders. So now I have academics, I have English class. Here's that little green plus to add another folder, and I'm going to do math. So now I have a math folder for my math pictures. You can make as many folders deep. I think you can go to 5 deep as far as the folders go. This will also be where you can upload art, or you'll see our art in here by category. If you wanted to upload your own special clip art, this is where you can do that as well. Okay, so when you're ready to upload some pictures, you click on the folder that you want to upload to, and I'm going to get this out of the way here. There's a green plus up here in the right-hand corner. If you click that button, it's going to say, do you want to upload from Google Drive? And you can connect to your Google Drive or your classroom drive and upload that way, or you can upload from your device. And when I click on that, it's just going to take me to my Finder window, and I'm going to find my sample pictures here. Let's alphabetize them. Okay, sample pictures. And I'm just going to grab a couple, but you can grab as many as you want. And I just did that by holding Shift and hit open. And all these pictures are going to start to upload. And when they're done, you'll see them pop in there just like that. So this is how you'll get the pictures in there. Now, Allie, if you don't mind, will you put in the link in the chat that has the new image library tutorial that kind of walks them through the tagging and all of that? Since we covered that last week, I don't want to go over it again here, but that link should be able to kind of walk them through that. I think it's in Yearbook Avenue. Thanks. So she's going to put a link in the chat that'll walk you through how to tag from here and all the different views and all that. This is a really great new version of this tool, and so we really like it. But I want to show you how to work with pictures on your page. So I'm going to go back to Layout Pro, and you'll remember you find that under Create and under Layout Pro. Oh, I lost my template, wouldn't you know it? So I'm going to drop it back in. And there's my template. Now I'm ready for pictures. So I'm going to click back on images, and there's those 5 pictures I uploaded. And I can also upload from here. So if you don't want to switch into your image library, you don't have to. Just click the upload button here and you get the same options. If I was looking for my math pictures, there's my drop down and there's my math button. So I can click on that and I'd be able to pick math pictures there. So I've got my English pictures ready. And the way that you do it, you just drag and drop it in. You can see it's highlighting an image box on the page. And when you drop it in, it goes in. Just pay attention. Something to work on with the kids is like we're looking at a horizontal picture here with the horse, of course. Haha, that was funny. Didn't even mean to do that. But then when I drop it in, Allie loves my jokes. I drop it into this big vertical photo. Clearly, that's not going to work. So talk with them about orientation of photos and you know, choosing the right fit for the right box and that sort of thing. But if for some reason I didn't want this ringmaster to be in this photo, I'm not sure what he's doing, but I just want the little girl and her mom. The way that I can adjust this photo is click on it once. If I do that, it adjusts the frame. So I'm grabbing the toggles and I'm making the photo frame smaller. If I want to adjust that photo within the frame and maybe just zoom in on her, if I double click, it will show me how big that photo is. So now you can see I'm moving the photo within that frame, and I've almost cropped him out, but I want to get his entire face out. There we go. And now I don't have him in there at all. So that's how you crop using Layout Pro, using the photo on the page already. Now's a good time to talk about the contextual toolbar. And so as you can see, I click on different items on my page. My toolbar up here is changing a little bit. So right now I'm clicked on text, so I'm getting some text options. This is my text toolbar. When I click on images, I get a different toolbar. And when I click on objects, which would be this line, for example, I get a completely different one. So there's 3 different ones: object, text, and photo. And we're talking about photos, so let's work with that one first. When I click on my photo and I get these toolbars up here, there's lots of things I can do. I can give it a different stroke. And if I want to do that, I want to click on the outline and I'm going to choose, I don't know, purple. And then I can make the size much thicker. Now I've got this thick purple stroke on it. I can adjust the corners and make them rounded. I can make the picture transparent if I like. Adjust the tint if I needed to. I can do the drop shadow here if I wanted to give it a drop shadow. That would give it a cute little shadow in the background, or text wrapping. If I wanted to stick this right in the middle of the story and have the words go around it, I could do text wrapping there within the format and effects. What I really wanted to show you here was Snap Edit. And this is where you're going to be able to edit your photos right here in Layout Pro. So we have some really cool things if you want to make it black and white or sepia. Some of these will do some really crazy things, so don't go overboard and teach the students like really good photo editing. And the one tool I will show you in here is levels, and this is the one that I kind of always base my photo editing off of. Levels is a Photoshop tool as well. So if you're used to using that, you'll be used to this. And kind of this is actually already a pretty decent photo, but when you have a photo in here, you'll see all these spikes and valleys here. You kind of want your black and your white to be at the edge of the slope. And like I said, this isn't a good example because this one's actually pretty good. But if it started here, I just drag this over here and it will adjust the brightness and contrast of that photo. In my opinion, that's a little bit too much, but that's because my slope actually started over here, so it didn't need adjusting. But you'll see it on some of photos that maybe are taken in the gym or inside in a dark classroom, that the levels need to be adjusted. And that's a real quick way of doing some quick edits. So that's how you will work with Snap Edit and work with pictures on the page. If you have any questions about using Snap Edit or editing pictures or getting pictures on the page, you can stick them in the chat and Allie will get back to you on that. Okay. The other thing about pictures, if you have, if you're tagging your images, if you're running an index, you should be tagging your images. And even if you're not going to run an index, you should tag them anyways, because then you can see how many times people are used in the book. Tagging just means we're going to say, okay, this picture has Whitney in it, and now we're going to let everybody know that Whitney's been pictured once. And here's where you can find that information. Under Create, Coverage Report, once your portraits have been uploaded, we'll have a list of all your students there. Or if you send or submit a student list, which we highly recommend everybody do early in the year, then you'll have a list of all of the students in your school. And as you start tagging or saying this, Whitney's on this page, Whitney's on this page, Whitney's on this page, you'll start to see how many times Whitney's been pictured in the book by looking at the coverage report. And then we know once I get up to so many pictures to just not use me and use somebody else. Or definitely look and see who's purchased a book and hasn't been pictured enough. But you'll know that the image has not been tagged if it has this purple tag here. And if I'm ready to tag it, you can just right click on it and tag names. And then it will pull up your student list over here. If I had a student list in, I'd have all of my kids' names over here, or my portraits were uploaded. I'd have those here. But since I don't, I can't search for the student. At this point, there would be a search bar and I'd type in Whitney Baker, and then I would be able to select Whitney from the list here, and then my name would be tagged and I would be able to be flowed into the index. So that's how you work with tagging. Moving on to art. Art is going to be anything in addition that you can drop onto your page. So things like shapes or backgrounds or clip art. So we have different image frames here. So if you wanted to have a shape for some reason, there are interesting shapes in there. We have all of your clip art, again, organized by category. Anything that's black and white can be changed to a color and white. Anything that's all color will remain all color. And it's as simple as dragging and dropping to the page, and then you can adjust the size when it's there. Let's show you shapes. So if you wanted to maybe put this headline into a box, you could just drop in a square and then stretch it to be the right size and then send it to back. And then all of a sudden you have a cute little box behind your headline. So you can use these shapes for different objects on your pages. Flowing portraits, which we're not going to get to today, but that's something Allie and I will help you with. And then also backgrounds. So we have all these different backgrounds to choose from. They are wild and crazy sometimes. So just be careful with what you're choosing. And you can always change your background, which we should in this case. And just for fun purposes, I'm going to drop that one in. So I'll show you how we can adjust that. Remember, under Edit, we went to Change Background. You can also get there by right-clicking and choosing Change Background, and that will pull up this window for you. This is where you can either just give it a color. Maybe you don't want the background graphic at all. You just want to have a color. You can do that. You can get rid of my color again. Actually, I'm going to just re-drop it in. And so you can flip and rotate the background. You can crop it. You can edit it if you want. Or my favorite one is tinting it. So if you wanted it, a fun little tie-dye, but maybe not so in your face like that, you can bring it down a little bit and you still have a little bit of tie-dye in the background. So that's kind of cool. That's how you'll work with your backgrounds. Text. On the Yearbook Avenue training video, we walked you through what text styles were. That's a real quick search in the digital classroom if you want to as well know what these are. But if you set up text styles, meaning I set it up earlier to have all my headlines be size 60 Arial font. And I've already set that up. So now when I'm ready to start dropping headlines onto my page, if I just drop it in, it goes in as the correct size and font that I've set it to be. This is a really easy way to keep all your styles the same throughout your book if that's really important to you. So anything that's text that you've created a style for will be right here. And then we have flow, which will be a portrait season topic we will cover with you later. And under layers, if you're used to working in layers like in Photoshop or InDesign, that same concept is true with Layout Pro, and you can see it here. So it has a lot to do with, the layering of elements on your pages, so what's on top of each other and that sort of thing. It can be very confusing if you don't usually work in layers. So if you ever have questions about it, let us know. If you don't have any idea what layers are, that's totally fine, and you'll probably never use it. Under history, this one is a helpful tool. If you worked on this page last week and then next week you come in and you change it completely, but at the end of the week you're like, oh, I wish I would have had that old version back. I like that one better. You can come back in here to history and get old versions of your pages back. If something gets lost or maybe a student works on it that's not supposed to, we have all the old versions here in history. Okay. I talked about the image toolbar. Let's talk about the object toolbar. So right now I'm selected on that little gray box in the background, and I think that's a fun idea. Actually, I'm selected on the text. So now I've got the gray bar. So here's my object toolbar up here at the top. If I want to change the colors, I can change the outline or the shape stroke. And I can give it that purple outline again. I can give it a really thick purple outline. If I wanted to, I can change the fill of the object. So I'm clicked on shape fill now. And if I do that, I've got a fun color there that's clearly not going to work. And I've changed it to white now. So that's kind of how you'll work with objects. I don't think there was, yeah. Then trash if you wanted to get rid of it. You can do the same thing here with rounded corners and transparency and drop shadows with your objects as you can with your pictures. So now we have a fun little drop shadow on there. That's cute. Okay, we need to talk about text toolbar. So now I'm clicked on my text here in this headline, and this is the toolbar that will pop up. It should probably look familiar to you. You can choose your drop down and choose a different font. Right now I only have access to 2 fonts, and that's because I didn't go and activate the other fonts. We have tons and tons of fonts to choose from. We don't need you to have access to all of have the students have access to all of those because they'll have so much fun going through them and wasting time looking at all the fun fonts. So you guys just pick the ones that you want, and then you can activate those. And if you watch the Yearbook Avenue training tutorial, you'll see in there how to activate your fonts. Again, another quick search from the digital classroom if you were wanting that information. But for now, I've got these fonts activated. So if I wanted to change the fonts at this point, I could just do it just like that. When you get this red X inside of a text box, that just means the text box isn't big enough to hold all that text that you had in there. So I lost my fashion word. That's its flag of just saying, hey, you're missing something here. And if I make it bigger, then I can see it all. Or I can adjust my font size. So I will, there we go. This is styles again. So if I wanted to say, well, hey, don't forget this is a headline and I already set that style, it can just drop it in real quick for you there. You can adjust your size, your color, the outline, the stroke on the text, which is kind of a fun one. Let's do that. Text stroke, we like that purple color. Now we can make it really thick. Oh, that's of the box. If I wanted to make the thickness of that stroke, I could do that here. I'm clicked on the wrong thing, but that is where you would do that. We also have your basic bold, italic, underline, those sort of thing. We have your alignment here, center, left, and right, justified. We also have letting the line space between your lines. So if you wanted to adjust that and have your story have more spacing between the lines than typical, then you can do that there. And again, we have fat formatting and effects for text. So if you wanted to give it a drop shadow, we could do that real quick. And now we've got a cute little drop shadow on our headline. I think that was it under text. Yes. Okay. So a couple of other things I want to point out because we don't have a ton of time, but I do want you to be able to see your pre-flight. And that is just basically a way of proofing or checking your errors before you submit your pages. So what I've done is I clicked on this little 3-line button down here, and it pulls open this new window for me. You can leave a comment here. So if you're an advisor and want to leave a comment for a student, please choose new pick already used. And I can drop that on there, and then they'll see that comment next time that they log in, and they'll have this little notification here, and then they can even change it or leave you a reply. But I love this photo, and you'll have a fun little chat going, or maybe it's not that fun. But that's a good way of communicating without just coming in and doing the work for them. Also a really great tool for your editors. If we come and click, and that's right here under this little word bubble, if I click on the warning sign next to it, it will show me all my warnings, and that's a lot of them because I didn't do much to this page. So you can see all the warnings that I have on my page by seeing all these little yellow warning signs. And if I click on each one of these, it will highlight where the problem is. So now I clicked on image element remains unedited. Yes, we have not put a picture in there. That's true. So it's highlighting that picture and it's saying that's a problem. Drop a picture in, or just know that you won't have a picture there. So if I delete it, that one actually goes away. And it looks like it didn't because all of those are the same. But if I delete the one from the bottom, an image element remains unedited. Oops. It's got this one highlighted. If I delete it, you'll see now we are down another element once I save, or another warning once I save. So when I saved, that went away. So that's how you'll work with warnings. If you ever get something that you're not sure what it means, feel free to reach out to us, but I really love that it highlights where the problem is. The text element remains unedited. It'll want you to change all of the template text before you submit. So that's where you will do that. The other buttons down here are going to be, this is a quick guide, a quick key to kind of turn on your guides. So as you can see on the right-hand side here, my guides and my grids are on now. So it makes it really easy for me to align things. Let's see, what else can I show you? The select tool, we were going to show you that.
Oh yeah, show the select tool because that's really helpful. And then also, can you go over the snap edit one more time, even though you don't have any names in there? Just Becky wants to know where it's at.
Like the snap edit for editing pictures?
Yes.
Okay, sure. So I'm going to show edit it really quick, or the select tool real quick. So if I knew, I like this page, but I don't really love the black. I want it to be that purple color that we love so much. I can come up here to edit. And if I go to select and then, whoops, goodness gracious, there we go, color. I can say, I want to select everything that is currently black and I want to make it that fun purple color. So it's saying there's 32 elements on the page. It's going to get all my text too, probably. And it's going to change all 32 to be purple. And sure enough, it did. So that's a really easy way of, if you love those theme templates, but maybe you don't love the colors that are used or the fonts or something on the page, go ahead and use it. And then we can use this select tool to make a real quick change and then save it as a new template so that it's the way that you want it next time you drop it in. I just really love that you use it for fonts. There's a lot of tools in here I haven't even used it for. So if I like it for those two as much as I do, I know I'll love it for all the other ones as well. Let's go back to Snap Edit real quick because that's an important one. So when I'm ready to edit photos, if I click on the photo and this little shutter button up here in your toolbar is your Snap Edit. Actually, I'm going to drop in a different picture because this one's already not too bad. Let me see. None of these are too bad, but I'm going to use this one instead. Looks a little bit darker. Ooh, that was a really good example. Let me show you that again. When I drop this photo into this large frame, it is not letting me put it in there because it's not large enough to go into that box. So if you ever try to drop a photo onto a page and it won't go in and you get frustrated, that definitely can be frustrating, but that's just because the quality of that image is not large enough to make the photo that big. So now I've got this photo on the page and I'm ready to edit it. If I click on Snap Edit, it will pull up all my editing options where I can make it black and white, or I can give it a color overlay, or I can adjust the brightness and contrast here. And I was saying earlier, the way that I like to do it, and the simplest way, because it adjusts the brightness and the contrast for you, is just by using levels. So when I click on levels, Usually you'll see almost like a bell curve in here. These have already been edited, so they're not too bad. But you would see a bell curve, and what you'd want to do is drag the black one to the beginning of that slope and drag the white one to the other beginning of that slope. I'm just saying the bell goes like this, and that's where you drop it. Now you can see that's way too bright and the contrast is off. So we didn't need to do that. But if you ever see one where the slope kind of just starts right here, that drag your white over and your black over, and then that will adjust the levels. Questions about that?